cover and just slide underneath here, slide it up, and slide it out. I'm going to remove this intake, just pop this line off right here. I'm going to have to grab it and loosen up the worm clamp right here. Use a straight blade screwdriver. Also right here. Using a trim tool, just slide underneath here, separate that, and separate the snorkel. Lift up over here, there's a little rubber grommet, and slide it out. And just grab the spark plug wire, just twist it a little bit, you can slide it off. Do that with the rest of them. These heater hoses, you can just slide these out of the retainer right there. And then there's a wire there's a retainer. Just slide that retainer up and move those out of the way. We can disconnect this connector right here. There's a little lock tab. Slide that back and disconnect the connector. There's another tab right here holding this wire. You can just slide that out of the way. And take a 10mm socket and remove this bracket. There's a nut right here. Take that nut off. You can slide the bracket off. And we'll take this coil bracket off. There's studs. You gotta take all those studs out. Use the same 10mm socket. There's one more in the back. That one's kind of hard to get to. You might want to use a wrench for that. Or if you have a swivel socket, that'll work. Take that off. And now the whole coil pack assembly slides right off. And there's 4 screws or bolts that are holding the valve cover on. Use a 8mm socket to take those bolts out. And sometimes they will come up completely, but if they stay with the valve cover, that's okay. And grab the valve cover. Just slide it up. There is a tube right here. You could slide this tube off if you want to. Slide that out, set that aside. There you go. Now take the valve cover, you can take the bolts out. There's little gaskets on here. You can use a screwdriver or a pick. Just try to get these off. Sometimes they just rip off. Take those off, we're gonna replace those. And then also take the gasket. Slide that off. Take some brake parts cleaner and just clean this all out. You can take some type of a wire brush if you would like and just clean this all out. And you want this nice and dry before you put the new gasket in, otherwise the gasket's gonna fall out. So clean this all out nice and good. Now take the gasket and just line it up. There's little loops in it so you can tell where it lines up. Get those started first. And then you can just get it started the rest of the way around. And you might have to make adjustments, but But if you had any type of oil in here, these would just keep popping out. So make sure there's no oil in there. But this is working good. Clean off the bolt. You can take the new seal. If you want, take a little bit of engine oil. Put some engine oil on the seal. That'll make it go on a little easier. And just try to slide it on. There you go. And then into the cover. And just make sure the seal seals into the cover, just like that. Do the same with the other ones. Now we're gonna clean up the head. Just take some brake parts cleaner. And you can take a razor, just be careful, or a scraper. You don't want to gouge any of the head. But clean up the surface area where the gasket's gonna go. Now we're gonna put the cover back on, just line it up. And get all the bolts started. And you can torque these bolts to 9 foot-pounds. Not very tight at all. Now slide the coil packs over on the bracket. Just get it lined up. Just make sure you're not pinching any wires. And take the studs. Get those started. You can put this bracket on and put the nut on. And tighten this down. Put those hoses in place. And the wires, put those in the proper spots. There's another retainer right here. And the connector. Hopefully you didn't squish it. Lock that down and put the lock on. Connect all the spark plug wires. Make sure they click in place so they don't fall out. Now put the air snorkel on. Line it up, line this grommet up. It's all set. And there's a little retainer on the coolant hose right there. And tighten the worm clamps down. Reinstall this hose. It goes on the valve cover and goes right into the intake right there. And slide the cover in position. Lock it down.